Lebanon's Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri has set January 9th date for the House to elect the country's president. Lebanon's Parliament will meet on January 9th to elect a new president seeking to end more than 2 years without a head of state, official Lebanese media reported today, a day after an Israeli Hezbollah ceasefire began. Israeli tank fire has hit 6 areas in southern Lebanon after Israeli officials claimed that the ceasefire with Hezbollah was breached when what it called suspects arrived at several areas in the southern zone. The round struck Markaba, Wazani and Kafr Shuba, Khiyam, Tayyiba and the agricultural plains around Merjayoun, all of which lie within 2 kilometers of the blue line demarcating the border between Lebanon and Israel. One of the security sources said 2 people were wounded in Markaba. French presidential envoy Jean-Yves Le Drian has met with the Member of Parliament Sajah Atiyah, representing the National Moderation Parliamentary Bloc. Talks touch on the key affairs relevant to the Lebanese crisis, including development following the ceasefire and the priority of electing a president of the Republic. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon that took effect earlier was the first ray of hope in the regional conflict after months of escalation. Guterres said it is essential that those who signed the ceasefire commitment respected in full, adding that the UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon was ready to monitor the ceasefire. He also reiterated his call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah has continued to hold as it entered the second day. The US and France brokered deal approved by Israel late on Tuesday call for an initial 2 months halt to fighting and requires Hezbollah to end its armed presence in southern Lebanon, while Israeli troops are to return to their side of the border. Thousands of additional Lebanese troops and UN peacekeepers will deploy in the south, and an international panel headed by the United States will monitor compliance. Traffic has streamed into Beirut's southern suburbs as some people returned to the area on the second day of a ceasefire. A ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah took effect under a deal brokered by the United States and France, allowing people in both countries to start returning to homes in a border area shattered by 14 months of fighting. Lebanese state media have reported 4 killed in a series of Israeli airstrikes targeted at 3 border crossings between Syria and Lebanon in northern Lebanon. The Israeli bombing caused great damage to the crossings, facilities and yards, in addition to burning several cars and trucks that were present at the site. Residents of the Dabusaya area said the war was brutal and caused terror for families living near the border crossing.